roads are being blocked, and this is in and around Alexandra ahead of a planned total shutdown in protest over undocumented foreign nationals in the area. Tensions boiled over in the township yesterday when a group of community members under the Dudula Movement clashed with foreign nationals who own businesses there. Let's talk to our reporter now, Ahmed, who has been on the ground for the better part of the morning. Ahmed, tell us where you are exactly, but I also see that you have been posting videos of some of the supposed leaders of this Dudula movement being arrested. What might the charges be?
Yes, Koli, what we have seen an update, at least within the last 10 to 15 minutes or so, law enforcement carrying out a small, brief operation around the Pan Africa Mall and arresting alleged members of the Dudula Movement, which more or less would have started 2 to 3 weeks ago. And one of the culminating events took place around 24 hours ago in the Alexandra township, just a few meters away from the Pan Africa Mall. Initially, the members from the Dudula Movement saying that they were attacked, and then this subsequently caused a retaliation, rather, at around 3 or 4 p.m. yesterday, where foreign-owned shops were then destroyed and removed from areas around Alexandra, specifically focusing on the epicenter here at the Pan Africa Mall as well. Business has been usual in terms of the operations around today. Traffic has continued, schools have continued, despite calls by the Dudula Movement a bit in the latter parts of yesterday. I'm going to be chatting to a few local residents in a few moments' time, but I'm just going to bring in one store owner who is a South African at a herbal, perhaps a herbal medicine shop as well. Mr. Vernon Woodley, thanks for your time today. I think just briefly, what has the impact of this been on your store?
Look, from basically we had a major lockdown. We just came out of the lockdown and we're trying to survive. And after the lockdown, a couple of months later, the looting started. The building was totally burnt out. We sat at home for 8 months doing nothing, living off family, trying to get ends meet done. Then when we were rebuilt again, cost us funds, money. We had to borrow money from the bank to restart our business. We restarted our business again. And my mom's been here for more than 25 years. We've been in this premises. We've never had such things. And we're not here. My mom helped a lot of people in Alexandra and far and wide know they come here to my mom where they know where my mom is. My mom is quite experienced in the herbal business. And yesterday, the guys came, they were, for a week now, 2 weeks, we haven't even made our rent. We just paid half the rent. We had to phone the landlord this morning and tell him that we only paid half our rent because of the situation here. I mean, they just looting and just broke everything the first week. Then yesterday they came, they forced my shutters down. They locked an elderly 79-year-old woman in the shop, and the guy refused for me to open up. I said to him, I've got a mother in the shop there. He actually got a shambak from me. Until a lady came and said, now let me see. And then my mother was walking out quietly. They made her sit in the boiling hot sun for 2 hours. Is that humane, Mr. President? Mr. President Ramaphosa, is that humane? Come on, let's be honest. You don't want to come out here. You don't want to send your ministers out here. You don't want to come out personally. Just come and help the people of Alexandra. Come and help us, please. And I personally, I'm not against what Mr. Mandela did, but what Mr. Mandela did when he took power was to do away with the influx control law, which was the biggest mistake ever made. Because once the influx control law was done away with, that's when all these foreigners started flocking the countries like dribs and drabs. They were even swimming, they were even getting killed in the rivers that they were swimming. I think the influx control law should be brought back in and let them go back to their country, have a SADC meeting with all the SADC owners and tell them, please tell our country, your members, South Africans that are living in South Africa, please come back home. So we in South Africa can live in peace and harmony. Yes. Because the SADC meeting needs to be called up urgently, Mr. President. I don't think you sitting in your office and watching us all on TV and watching the drama here is not going to help. It's not going to help at all. Only today we see in the morning all these police force and the metro and things. What happened for the past week and couple of days? What happened? this wouldn't have come, the situation wouldn't have been so bad had you sent the army out, because you all have inside information, intelligence information you'll had. During the looting, you all admitted on TV, you all had inside intelligence report, but you all did not act. And I'm sure, Mr. President, you do have intelligence report of what was going to happen here. And this is going to end up into a bloodbath between the locals and the foreigners. And then this blood is going to stream all over this country. You're going to be like the blood river, basically, Mr. President.
Mr. Medley, thanks very much. I'm going to be just coming through to a few community members in a few moments, fully. But you will see about 10 or 15 police units carrying out their operations, maintaining some sort of law and order to ensure that there is containment of any unrest should anything come up as well. But we had spoken to a few members of the community, a few local South Africans who were just raising some of their concerns over what has taken place as well. Just very briefly, you were speaking about your major concerns around the foreign national presence in Alexandra. What are your views?
My views to the nations, as I'm a person who presents unity and love to nations abroad. What is exactly going on here in Alexandra is that our residents are angry because of the unemployment, the economy, and the unknown murders and crimes that are happening. They cannot be detected because some other people from outside, they don't have papers and they just get in. So what I would like to say as a resident of Alexandra is that the foreign people must be briefly in a respected way, and they should understand what is our crisis in South Africa and Alexandra as a whole. We just need unity. We don't need to be violent. We don't want violence. We don't want tears. We don't want blood that's going to spurt out. We just need unity and love to nations abroad. So we're just asking them with respect to cooperate, so that we must be able to fix our country. We must be able to fix our economy. We must be able to decrease the level of unemployment. We must be able to decrease the level of crime. Because what we experience now as local residents is what? Many jobs has been taken by foreign people. We don't say they must not work, but how can you prioritize someone who's coming from another country? You prioritize them as number one in your country. It doesn't make any sense. So we just need to fix our country. We don't want violence. We don't want tears. We don't want arrested people who are going to be arrested for their own rights, you know. And coming to the people of Alexandra, they are fighting for a right. That is their right to have a job, a right to employment, a right for a shelter, a right. People of South Africa, they are fighting for their rights. So I would like to ask the president to look into this thing. You understand? So to our foreign people, I would just like to tell you, cooperate and go home, so that we must fix South Africa. Maybe in future there might be possibilities to call you back, to feature you in some jobs that we cannot do, you know, because some other things we cannot say we're professional in that. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Polly, you will see the sentiment out here coming from South African residents, South African store owners here in Alexandra regarding foreign national store owners as well. And Polly, some of the foreign national store owners which we had spoken to earlier this morning, they're actually coming out and saying that people aren't even coming in to find out if they are legal or to find out if they have legal papers or perhaps the immigration papers, but rather just asking them for jobs. And if they cannot offer them any jobs, they more or less simply have their stores closed down. And they say this has been taking place over the last few weeks as well. So it seems that the tensions over here in Alexandra between foreign nationals and members from the Dudula Movement seem to be increasing. But with law enforcement present, one will hope that perhaps there won't be any skirmishes or increase of violent tensions that we have seen over the last 2 weeks and over the last 24 hours. Fully.
Ahmed Kajee, thank you very much for that update live for us in Alexandra Township. The police watching that particular area with hawkish eyes, given what has been promised, a shutdown, a total shutdown. We will keep tabs on this story throughout the day.